Hey guys, welcome back. BDCKR here. Today we're back with another one of our Q&A / update videos, and as always we start off with the update. The current challenge is for Suicide Squad Harley Quinn. This is the rerun. The current online mode is for the Ancient Katana, which becomes a Soul Taker sword. The Survivor mode gear set is the companion Suicide Squad gear set. And all of the early access packs are still there. And just before we get into the questions, a quick update on our giveaway video. We've started doing the giveaways as of Sunday, and we've already successfully confirmed giving away at least 2 games. Congratulations to Scott and tupperdude and PixelCraft, who have all been emailed their games. The 4th out of the 4 people we emailed has not responded to us yet, but that's how that's going. Anyways, we'll move on from that and just get into the questions and comments. First one comes from Hellos Agains, and they say, don't block, let them hurt themselves more and take higher percent of damage based off of how much damage they do to you, so do not block. And this is talking about the Diablo companion gear. So basically, I think the bottom line with this is that it never makes sense to not block and to not minimize the damage that you're taking.
With specifically Diablo's gear, though. Like, let's follow that, because, so, actually, you know what, let's just go take a look at them, because this will be kind of destructive. The problem with Diablo's gear, or sorry, the Diablo companion gear, is that, do I even have it on here? I believe I do.
Sure, you're dealing free damage, but you're not actually dealing more damage than you're taking.
So it's 40% only.
And you're taking 100% damage.
Right, it's damage over time, which means it can be rinsed off, except for our United Catwoman.
So the easiest way that I found to think about it is like this. Imagine instead of 100%, it's 100 damage. You don't block, you take 100 damage, they take 40 damage. If you do block, you take 50 damage and they take 20 damage. So even though the percentage is still half, like 20 is half of 40 and 50 is half of 100, think about it this way. You can take 50 damage less, and they can take only 20 damage less. So they're still taking damage, and they're taking a higher actual ratio of damage. It's always better to block because you're always taking a lot more, so the more you minimize it for yourself, it's still free damage either way.
And so it's a little bit deceiving because the animation is very much like Reggie Black Adam's passive with the little things circling around you. But Black Adam's passive is actually better because if against a special, it returns twice the damage. Now, the danger is, because he's a relatively low health gold, that if he gets knocked out, you don't actually get the benefit of his passive. If he gets knocked out, he returns 0 damage on a special.
Yeah, so with Black Adam, that would be true. You'd want to take as much damage as possible because the effect is actually greater on your opponent than on you. But anytime where taking damage makes the opponent take less damage than you always want to minimize that. Unless there's the edge case where you have way more health than they do, and so you're still actually dealing a higher percentage of their total health, even though it's only 40% as much damage. That's the only time when it makes sense.
Alright.
So, anyways, this is not... Well, this was a question directed at us, but it was semi-answered. We'll put it up on screen now. Buddy, using glitches doesn't get us banned, right? And somebody comments, says no, and they comment back and they're like, do you mean it does?
Alright, so...
this was on our video highlighting Suicide Squad Harley Quinn in
Right, so
multiplayer.
it's one of those comments that isn't actually relevant to the video. Actually, that's another thing too. We see all the comments. If you want to comment on the right video where it's relevant, go ahead. Cause
yeah, it doesn't need to be on the new video.
Right. So we actually, in the comment thread, we actually answered the specific question. Glitches don't get you banned, but what you do with them might. And the link to the video discussing this will be in the description, where we talk about will whatever get me banned. But the reason why this comment thread is interesting to us is that we deal with ambiguity a lot. The fact that the commenter got a clear, straightforward answer, no, it's one word, simple, and he still didn't know what was going on, means, he'd get a lot more help if he could ask his questions properly, and that usually means don't put any negatives in it. So, when somebody says, if he'd asked instead of buddy, using glitches doesn't get us banned, right? If you just said using glitches doesn't get banned. Yeah. no negatives, because once somebody answers no, what? Is he answering no to the negative, or is he answering no to the positive?
So yeah, there's that. Next.
Grammar. It's in you. No, that's not the right expression. That's not
What?
the right meme. I don't know. Do it. Just do it. Grammar. All right, go ahead.
What? Okay. Next question comes from just an average fanboy. Okay, I've got another question. Since Unhinged Joker Special 2 can only knock out one opponent, does that mean it can take out Raven with ease? And he's talking about how it has the WWE style animation where even when somebody gets knocked out, it just leaves their corpse there, and you just keep wailing on it.
Right. So it can't. The before the last hit can't knock him out.
Yeah.
So that's actually a problem with this gear. It's the exact opposite.
You mean with the special?
Sorry, that's what I meant. I meant with the special, because intermediate hits, so the hits before the last one, are guaranteed not to knock her out before the last hit. Her passive is guaranteed to trigger. So if a special 2 does enough damage so that it's not the last hit that knocks her out, then the second last hit will be leaving her with one second, or with third last or whatever, will leave her with one thing of health, and you're going to trigger passive and you exchange health.
Yeah, so he's actually one of the worst characters to deal with Raven with. At least that
His
special.
special 2, right.
Yeah. Next question comes from Barbarian Army, and they say, how do you get so many views and subs? I keep dropping.
I kind of like this question. It's a little bit interesting. I mean, clearly we're not the most successful, but we have a little bit of success, right, in the small niche that we've got. We're sort of like a medium-sized fish in a really tiny pond of people who play Injustice. And we don't really have some absolute answers, but we've got a few ideas. I mean, one is we don't really entirely care, so we're not motivated to do stuff just with the idea of trying to get more views and stuff, because I see that a lot. I see people trying to give away stuff and try to draw viewers, and I mean, it works a little bit.
I saw this a really long time ago on a YouTuber that I liked who was talking a little bit about it, and he said, if you want to do YouTube to be famous, don't do it. If you want to do YouTube because you think it would be fun, and you think you have ideas that other people would want to watch, and you would like to share them, then do YouTube, because you'll eventually be successful if you stick at it for long enough.
Right, because you gotta find your tribe.
And I mean, even that, like, you can make great content and there's a chance that people still just won't even see it. But basically, you can't go in expecting any level of success, because most people will be way too disappointed before they ever reach that point. Almost no matter where you put your bar.
Yeah, I think a big part of it is that we don't care enough. Like, we're just doing it for the heck of it. It's fun. So the views are good, the subscribers are good, but that's not all of it.
And I don't know if you've noticed, but our views are kind of dropping on some of our videos.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the series that we are making that people have decided that they're no longer interested in watching, the views are dropping on. This series of videos, our weekly updates, remain rather static, which is why we think we have kind of that core audience. Our glitch videos, which is what really most people come to our channel for in the first place, are just getting more and more because there's more people telling their friends.
Right, but then that's tapering down because there's no power credit glitch right now.
Yeah, there's not as many important glitches that people will actually be actively sharing.
Right.
So I mean, the real answer is they kind of are. We're keeping them up by continuing to make videos, and that's mostly because we don't really mind how many views they're getting, because any support at this point is more than we expect.
I mean, and not to say it doesn't help. The views matter a little bit because it makes it easier for us to get free stuff. I love getting free advanced reading copies of books. I like getting our subscription boxes. Those are great.
But I have to be honest, what I think I like the most, again, getting the free stuff is really good, but I really like the people who are like consistently commenting. And especially when it seems like people are just commenting just because they're engaged with us as a channel, as opposed to having a specific pointed question. Like, some people will just comment saying like, oh, liked your new video, cool stuff, keep it up, whatever. And those comments are really cool because it means that there are people who actually care enough to share their opinion about it specifically. Instead of just voting with their watch time, they're actually specifically letting us know.
Yeah.
That's cool too.
Yep.
So anyways, we'll move on to our next and last question of the episode. This is how to be funny, and it's a team suggestion. I'm really excited to tell you guys about this new team I've created. It includes Arkham Knight Harley Quinn, Hawkgirl, and Unhinged Joker. The team is basically this. Hawkgirl has only damage boost gears. Harley has Gauntlet, Ra's al Ghul for the power drain, and a damage boost. Joker has only special 1 boosts. In a battle, you keep battling with Harley and Hawk. As soon as you can swap out, you swap to activate Hawk's ability that keeps the enemies in and increases damage. Once the enemy has low health, Unhinged Joker comes and kills the remaining health on that opponent, and you get a free card to use with ease. This counters a lot. By the way, I would use Suicide Squad Harley, but Arkham has a better passive. If you have any ideas to improve my team, I'd be grateful. Thank you. Komoda. That's not the end of the video, by the way. He commented that.
That was him, yeah. Alright, so before we get to your team specifically, it makes sense to talk about sort of overarching strategies, like, you know, the meta game that people refer to first. So, given the number of power drainers and cards that can avoid specials, focusing on having one main basic damage dealer is hugely important. And without knowing the levels and promotions of the guys on your team, my first impression is that you don't have one strong damage dealer, or if you do, because you're gearing Hawkgirl to be it, you're not taking advantage of Arkham Knight Harley Quinn, because her base damage is actually higher, right? I guess, again, basic general stuff, I gotta tell you, Gauntlets of Azrael is my least favorite of the legendary gears, because, alright, so the health boost is fine, it's better than most, but the amount of healing is relatively small, and I don't know about you, I don't like healing in general. It means that you're using up a slot that you're not using to boost damage, so it means the games are drawn out longer. If you're relying on healing, then your games are definitely getting drawn out. So it's opportunity cost, right? You want to be able to do more damage, and one of those slots taken up with the healing gear means you're doing less damage than you could.
Yeah.
I guess the other thing too is faster fights are easier fights because of everything, right? They generate less power, so you face fewer specials. Fewer specials, that means there's less healing on their side, or regen. So if you're relying on Unhinged Joker's passive, that typically means you're having a more, you know, like a drawn out kind of fight, something that lasts longer. And the opponent who fights for you, because they don't get the benefit of a passive or gear boost, they're usually not doing a lot of damage, which is a bit of a drag. It's actually, I mean, it's a warm body, right, to eat a special, but hopefully you're not eating a lot of specials if you're just mowing through people. And I guess ultimately for the team that you picked, it's okay if you're having trouble getting through multiplayer, but in the high level fights, I think fast damage is the best.
Which is funny, because we always take the kind of fast damage approach for everything. Like, I know in Pokemon, our main strategy is to get to the point where we can just one-shot people, so we never have to worry about taking a hit in the first place.
That's right.
But
you have to be fast, too.
And Pokemon is kind of the opposite of this, because in the higher levels, that strategy just totally does not work. It's not a thing that you can actually do. Right. Like, competitive Pokemon is exactly what you essentially built your team like, where you want the battles to be slower, but you to have the overall advantage in health and, like, just typing for like, synergy and everything. And we take the totally opposite strategy and everything. So in Pokemon, that's not effective in high-level play, and in Injustice, our strategy just happens to be effective, but I don't think that's based off of what's actually good in the game. I think that's just based off of what we like to do. And we probably ride the razor edge either way. I
think that's true. I mean, we're going to lose, but I mean, I don't know that when you use a healing strategy, you're going to win more often than when you go fast, but at least when you go fast, if it's going to be resolved one way or the other, it's done. You're not spending, like, we're not going to be stuck in any marathon fights. I see people on the forums talking about being in a fight that lasted
like half an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they just won at the end with pure cussedness.
Yes, cussedness, I like that word.
So anyways, that's the video. We touched on it a little bit, but make sure to comment if you've ever been on the fence about it before, wanted to say something to us, or if you've commented before and you just want to let us know something again. It can be positive, we hope it's not negative, but I mean, you're entitled to your own opinion, I guess. But yeah, we'd like to hear from you guys. Anyways, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.
Komoda.
Komoda.